This episode is sponsored by SKS Luxury Appliances. If you've spent time around Signature Kitchen Suite, one thing designers notice right away is the technology. The interface feels familiar and intuitive because it's the same engineering that comes from LG, the company that produces the systems used in many of the luxury vehicles people drive today. Clients recognize it instantly and know how to navigate it, but SKS is also investing in designers through their Designer Rewards program and by sponsoring IDC. If you're specifying kitchens for serious cooks, give SKS a look. Learn more at sksappliances.com. SKS, built for people who truly love cooking. Hi, I'm Laurie with Interior Design Community and To the Trade, and I have Niall here. Hi, Niall.
Hi.
How was your weekend?
It was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little under the weather, but it was good.
I know, you've been fighting it. You've been sick. Ugh.
Yeah,
Summer
yeah.
sicknesses are the worst because it's so gorgeous outside, and you're like, no, I want to be in complete darkness.
Exactly. Exactly. Just wanna be
Yeah.
miserable, and I want everybody else to be miserable too, right?
Right. I went to Cliff House over the weekend. My son has a big boy job, and his company went to Cliff House, is in Maine. It's just in like past York, Maine, and it's on a cliff, as you can imagine. And it's been a resort for hundreds of years, like 200 years or something like that. And they did a renovation. It's beautiful, beautiful. They have multiple pools and overlooking the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. It's just, you would love it. I know you both would love it. And Jameelah Watkins, we have her in the house. I'm so excited. You both would have died at this resort. It was just like gorgeous, gorgeous. And he works for a company called PC Connection. So they sell business to business printers and computers and all sorts of stuff. He works on the Microsoft side. And so there were a lot of Microsoft executives there. And it was just really neat. It was neat to see him in like his world, because he's come to
Right.
our events
Right,
before.
right, right, right. So then you guys took his element. That had to be
They
cool.
love him. They're like, oh, he's so
Nice.
great.
Nice.
It was really cute. It was really cute. We had so much fun. So he got this huge suite. So we were overlooking the ocean. It was gorgeous, gorgeous.
Hope you got room
Nice.
service.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah. We had like oysters and, did all the whole thing. It was wonderful, wonderful. So, Jameelah, we love your business. Noelle and I were excited to get you on the podcast. We, think you are a real innovator in our industry and really came in strong. And I love that you work as a realtor and a designer. And I just was excited when you said yes. So, thank you for coming.
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute yes. I mean, I am a proud designer with ADHD, and the way that I booked my slot very quickly
Yes,
with no
I love it.
procrastination needs to be studied. I was very excited, and I'm so grateful to be here and, to connect with you all directly. We've been like, you know, on the social media streets, just, supporting each other, and it's been amazing. So thank you all for having me.
Oh, of course. We really, see the struggles of interior designers on a regular basis.
Mhm.
And, this honestly, when Niall and I were starting the podcast 2 years ago, actually 2.5 years ago now, that was one of the things we were thinking about was that what seemed to be an increased, I was just seeing more and more people burned out. And I was thinking we need to talk about the stressors, and we need to talk about so that more and more designers can understand that they're not alone in all of the thought processes that
Mhm.
they have. And if they are struggling with something or having a hard time with something, it's not them. It's like this is a tough industry, and it feels like we all need to be supportive of each other in a different way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not something it's interesting because real estate is the same way. Like, it's some people do it part-time, and then some people also do design. They're like, "Oh, I just do it on the side." To really do it, you realize that if you're gonna really do it, you have to be all the way in, and that comes with so much. It just comes with so much that you don't know along the way, and there's no one avenue to learn it all.
No.
So
No.
when people talk about school versus not being self-taught, and coming in, whichever way you come in, there's the school of hard knocks that you're going to endure
Yeah.
either way it goes, which is to your point, why we have to all be supportive of each other and kinda help to fill in the gaps, with our own experiences.
It's so true. I was making a video this morning that I'm going to be putting out on Instagram, and it was just really thinking about this designer that I had a long conversation with, and she was struggling. I was just talking to her, and she had sent me photos of her project, and she was so excited about these photos. Niall, you guys would be like, they were really really good, and I they were from a project she did 3 months ago. So I was like, why don't I see these online? Why don't you have them on your website? Why don't you have them on social? And she like paused for a minute, and she just basically was scared to put it up out online. And I was kind of like curious why she was afraid. And I think Niall will, feel this because I
Mm,
feel like you're the same way. It wasn't because of potential clients
yeah,
judging it.
yeah.
It was potential like other colleagues judging it that was making her feel too nervous to put it out there.
Uh-huh.
And
That
it
surprised
gets me
me.
so hard.
I had one of my students, I was talking about that, like, what is the voice in your head? Because I think when we're all scared to do something or, like, put something out, to me, I have a theory that there is just, like, a few faces that come to mind that stop you
Niall,
from
is looking up because he knows it.
putting it out. It could be, family members or friends, and that's what I thought the theory was, but what she said was, "It's actually not my friends and family, they're so supportive of me, it's really other designers." And I've been trying to put my words together because you guys know sometimes I can go off the rails with some of my rants, and I wanna make
No,
sure I
it's
say it
good. It's good.
straight. Um, that community is so important.
Mhm.
But this whole thing, I think when you get into the industry and you have industry friends and you've been in it with people for a long time, you're kinda, like, staying in this bubble with the people who are not your clients. We're supposed to be serving the public,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so this kinda not obsession, but just kinda like this hyper focus of, like, going to the lunch and learns, going to the conferences, even though I have a conference, which is why I'm, like, trying to choose my words because please register, but
Register. Yes.
I want you, meaning designers, like, we have to focus on our clients. We have to get back to focusing on being of service to our clients and not worrying about our colleagues so much.
Especially because they're experiencing the same thing. Like,
The
it's just
same thing.
preposterous, you know?
Right.
Because I'm thinking, like, every designer knows that. I mean, you're thinking that they're the most critical when I would think that they should be the most forgiving because they're the ones who know that they're making compromises too. They're having to
Mhm.
keep, like, the client's favorite chair that looks hideous in the
Mhm.
project, and they're having to choose a color that they don't really totally love sometimes. They're working within all the same constraints you are, and, we wouldn't judge someone else with that same, harshness. So I don't understand why we think we would be judged with that same harshness. Like, when I look at work, I know it's a compromise of a ton of different people that are involved
Mhm.
in that project. It's the client, it's the other trades that are selling their things, and you're selling your things. And, it's everybody is sort of like the final result is a huge, huge, huge compromise on time and availability and budget and all of the moving
Manufacturers.
parts. So it's crazy to me that we're worried that other professionals who get it, who should get it, are going to be their harshest critics. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, you have a few bad apples, and
Yeah,
I'm sure you've probably seen this, especially, like, in your comments or DMs or just out in there because you have a community,
sure.
but
Mhm.
there's a few bad apples that just kinda spoil it for everybody, and it makes it very counterproductive, because I really count these like, what you have, what I have, like or what you all have is like it's a very sacred space for designers to come together, to learn from each other, to like kind of be vulnerable about what you don't know, being able to pour in what you do know. And
Yeah.
so when you have those people that come in with that type of attitude, it's just not good. And it's such a huge responsibility. Like you said, I came in kind of with a bang. Uh, I just I knew what the
Love, by the
responsibility.
way. I was watching the entire time, sharing
Yeah.
it, putting it out there. Like,
Yes,
I
you
am
were.
so excited to see the bang that you came in with, it was
Thank you.
wonderful. I
Thank
think you
you.
executed that very, very well, and it was
Thank
really beautifully done. You should be
thank
Mhm.
super proud of yourself,
thank
honestly.
you. And thank you. And I didn't realize, I'm not gonna say I was just doing it because it was very intentional, but, like, the community aspect of it and how beautiful that part was, I think that's my favorite part of it all. So when you have I don't want them to get mad at me for talking about stuff outside the group chat, but there was someone who basically said, "Hey, guys, I vented inside of the group, and it got back to a client."
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually, because that's so bad and
Yeah,
so
how does that even happen?
egregious, that I had to handle it.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
handle it in the sense of, like, talking to clients and stuff, but just, like, tread lightly because these are 2 community members, but, like, you're coming to me, and I didn't get in between it, but what I did say, because the other person also just kinda confessed, like, it was me, because they were related to the client, and the designer was servicing the client. Mind you, this person is also a designer. And so I said, "I think you need to go ahead and contact her directly, like the person who said it. You need to," because she didn't know who it was because the client wouldn't say who said it. So it was just like this whole telephone thing, and I'm like, "You're gonna need to talk to her directly and, like, apologize or do whatever it is or, kinda make it right." And then I just had to make a blanketed statement in the group that this is, like, a sacred space, and what goes on here stays here because now people are not gonna want to share. People are not gonna wanna be vulnerable and get their questions answered and be able to vent and things like that. Like, we don't have a lot of spaces like that.
I can relate to that.
I'm
I've been
sure you
running
have
these
stories.
groups for a long time, and I've had a lot of interpersonality issues with designers and designers. I've had some secrets leak out. I've had some
Mm,
purchases go bad when someone was sharing their accounts. I've had it
ooh,
all. I've
yeah,
had all the craziness that one can expect. I've woken up from naps on a Saturday or Sunday to my whole phone being like,
yeah.
deal with this problem, Lori.
And you're like, "How did I become
How did I
the"
become mom to the entire industry? Okay, I'm
Mm.
taking your toys away from each other.
Exactly. Yeah, and I really don't like that because it's so
Yeah.
unnecessary. We have
Well,
so much that we're
there's
up
a
against.
learning experience there, but I think that there's also, those are the foundational things that create ground rules where I'm sorry, there's very little leeway when you create ground rules like Facebook. We have a private Facebook group, and in there I have a few things, and those are two rules that are in there. Are There's actually three that I think we added over years. I've had that I think for 14 years. One was like a basic, respect, be excellent to each other rule. One was absolutely, I don't care if it happened in the group, out of the group. If there's any fraud, you are deleted from the group. Like if I catch wind that you have not delivered a piece of furniture or you've taken money from a designer and not paid
Mhm.
for it, like I don't care where it happens. No, you're out. Like there's no second chances on that.
Yeah.
And, also the other is what stays in it has to stay in the group, and you can get permission, like, there are some writers in our group, and they sometimes have opportunities to talk about the group in a New York Times or something like that, and they'll put out a press request in our group, which is great, but they got express permission by those designers to give quotes and
Mhm.
interview them off out of the group, and that's perfectly okay if it's an opportunity and there is consent there. But if there's gossip or you're sharing, then that's a violation of the trust that we
Mhm.
have with each other. And I do take it seriously too. Like I get a lot of anonymous, obviously, posts. We do our question of the day, and
Mhm.
I keep a lot of secrets.
I feel like I'm like the new kid on the block, like, I came in with this whole thing, and
Uh-huh.
I did not realize how close-knit the community was, felt very I mean, everyone goes way back.
Yeah, yeah,
Kelly, that's my girl, she's everybody's girl. Kelly goes way back with everybody, like, literally everybody, and so there's history there, right? And
yeah,
so, it I'm like, "Oh, wow, okay, I didn't know this, I didn't know that," and I'm just naming Kelly because Kelly knows everybody, but,
yeah.
it's so beautiful, but at the same time, like I said, I'm the new kid on the block, so I'm, like, trying to learn the terrain of
Well,
it
there's
all
this
because
layer of politeness, right?
yeah.
That's over the surface. But then you dig a little under the surface and then you see, okay, this one hates this one because of this
Yeah.
thing that happened,
Oh my god.
you
I've
know?
had I've had to delete posts. I've
Yeah,
had
yeah.
to I'm thinking, "Oh, yeah, this person's great. That person is great. We should put them on a panel together," or, like, "Let's do this event together," and they're like, I'm like,
No.
"Okay."
Believe me, I am not a person that has a lot of enemies, but I have a few myself that I would not wanna be on a panel with at all, and, I have actually been on a contest like, I've been a judge on a contest, and I was like, "I won't be even a judge with this person."
Oh my god.
Because you learn who, like I hate to say
Mhm.
it, but there are some grifters out there, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And, I don't want my name associated with people I think are that to the industry, So I think that's where everybody has to draw their line about where they're comfortable working with certain people. And unfortunately, our industry is not unlike any other industry. There's good, there's bad, there's everything in between. There's people who are just doing their best with what they've got. I think that we have a lot of I do give a lot of grace to a lot of people and but there are some, like, hard lines for me, and I would
mhm,
say fraud is my biggest, like, thing that I try to prevent because I do believe it actually hurts our entire industry. I
for
feel
sure.
like there are some predatory coaching experiences or opportunities for designers. I feel like designers get nickeled and dimed to a relentless pace. It's always this new thing that's gonna revolutionize your business or oh, you
Mhm,
learn this new AI tool or you learn this new thing. And it's just constantly being nickeled and dimed by all of these outside things, these get rich quick schemes and,
mhm,
things that and then there's some things that are just like, well, that's good, but it's only like one view of something, So it's tricky to tell. And I give a lot of like understanding, but if I it takes me a while, but if I get there where I feel like, no, you're actually a bad person. You're actually a bad person. I kind of
yeah.
don't want anything to do with
You
that,
have to do a lot of due diligence,
You
and
do. You really
I
do.
I am like the test dummy for everything because like you said, it's so many different tools and, like, courses and classes and brands and gadgets and gadgets, and I feel like designers are just worn out,
Yeah.
and so
And if they trust
yeah,
you, Jameelah, that's the other part that I've struggled with is if they trust me and I've spent 15 years building trust with people and then
mhm,
I say to someone, this is good, then I am endorsing it, and if it ends up not being good, I feel a responsibility there. It really ugh, ugh.
yeah, I've had to be very careful, so definitely bootstrapping a lot. We've had partners and and it's great, but we've had to like dial it back. We've had to get very like scrappy and like creative in how we're producing all of this, whether or not a brand is involved. And then it's like I have to, yes, we would love to have your support, but I have to kind of know like how are you serving the designers,
Of course. Yeah.
and then also, designers are very discerning because we have to be. And so, even when it comes down to brands or showrooms and they're like, well, they didn't come, it's like, well, did you reach out? Did you offer support? Did you try to get in and like get to know their business and how you can support them, helping them to grow? And also, just because a designer is just starting out or they might not have that book of business and it's not like this immediate, transaction, you never know because people just blow up. Like, we always say it takes one project.
Mhm.
People blow up. It takes one client. And so brands and vendors and, reps and all, like, you have to also have that support and be in it for the long haul with
Yeah.
the designer as well.
Yeah, that's so tricky. How did you actually, when I think about your foundation and how you came in, it felt overnight to me. But how was it for you? What brought you into interior design industry, and what attracted you, and how did you get your footing in the beginning?
Um, so I have been an entrepreneur since I was 12.
Love that.
Started off doing hair. I had locks and I used to get, which is so funny because everyone has locks now, but my mom was very like, she hates when I say it, but like Rastafarian hippie. She has to wear hippie, but she was definitely a hippie. Um, had the locks and everything, but back then it wasn't that cool to have them. Decided
Mm.
to, I combed them out, did all of that, started to do hair, started working with brides doing hair and makeup. This is like a long, probably 15-year span of doing that. Um, and then saw how brides were getting treated, because I used to decorate my room. I was supposed to be cleaning up, but I'm like using old decorations to like redo my room and do all that type of stuff. So I've always been into design. Went from doing bridal hair and makeup to doing weddings and events, doing that. I have with my business partner Ebony, and then we wanted to add interiors because she went to SCAD. She did, I believe, fashion merchandising maybe, but she was also a model, but she's like into the art. She paints, she does all of that. So we both were super artistic. Wanted to add interiors. This was back in like 2018, 2019. We started the events in 2016 or 2017. So we wanted to get into it. We knew what we would call the company, which was Lauren Wesley Designs, because her daughter's middle name is Lauren. My son's middle name is Wesley. So Lauren Wesley Designs. And at first it was J Divine Events, but we knew we wanted to go and transfer everything into Lauren Wesley Designs, Events and Interiors. So that happened, but even before we changed everything over, I had a colleague that worked for a record label.
Yeah.
And so Rotimi from Power, he played Dre on Power on the show. He bought a house and he was looking for a designer. And so she called, she said, "Do you know any interior designers?" I was like, "Besides me?" Haha, no, I was just kind of joking. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a designer. Can you come to his house and take a look at it?" I was like, "Sure." I didn't even tell Ebony because I'm the one that jumps off the porch. Ebony is like, "Wait, we need this, we need that." So I, put on whatever. And I was honest with him. I'm like, this would be our first project. And he was willing to collaborate. He was very mindful of his money.
Sure.
Um, and he was not trying to like overspend. This was
That's a
his first.
bargain, right? I mean, getting a new designer who's trying things out, that's a bargain. That's,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
I'm big on that. When people ask about how you get started, and we could talk about, ways that you can get into the industry or generate business. But I was just like, if you let me do whatever I want and let me pick the photographer and the videographer, and you also have to post about it. It was very structured in the collaboration. So no, I didn't charge a fee, but with everything that he had to spend, could have
Mm.
very well been a fee, and I would have had to use that to pay for the videographer and the photographer and all the bells and whistles that I wanted to do. So we had a lot of like custom woodwork, millwork. He had 20-foot ceilings and stuff like that. And so that actually got published on Martha Stewart's blog, and that got us like 3 clients from
Wow.
that. Um Walking it back, got the job, called Ebony. I'm like, "We need to get an LLC."
I love it.
I'm like, "We need to get an LLC. I just got us an interior project." So we went and got the LLC. Being new and, what's it called? Where you're just, like, oblivious.
Naive,
When you
kind of.
are
Yeah.
oblivious to everything, like, we got that done in, like, 2 months. Now that project will probably take us, like, 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Just with all the little stuff. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. But we weren't getting paid for it, so it wasn't really any real bookkeeping. I mean, he gave us the money so that we could go purchase. Of course, I was not buying to trade. You know, I was going into retail stores and all of that. So, I mean, it was a great experience. We did the whole reveal with the video, and he was crying.
Oh,
Yeah, he was crying, and his girlfriend was crying. They're married now. They have like 3 kids. So it was wonderful. Then so that was like 2019, and then we got 3 projects, and the first one really got started, like, around February 2020. March 2020, I'm in
mm,
the store with my client, and the world is shutting down,
yeah,
and I'm literally in the furniture store with her. I'm like, "2 weeks, we'll be back." You know, we're still doing events. We had this big, huge baby shower with all kind of, like, stuff, you know. Events were gone,
yeah,
obliterated.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, interiors was all that we had left. And I'm in Atlanta, so we were closed, but we weren't closed. You know, it was a little pause, but I lived around the corner from one of the bigger projects that we had of the 3. And so I was able to really go back and forth. Had a wonderful contractor who had his own team, everything completely spoiled. Did not know that all contractors did not work that way.
No.
They have their own foreman and have their own project manager and their own accountant and their own admin, and you know, they're just like, "Go here and pick this out," and, like, "Go here and pick that out," you know, that have a schedule, and we know what's going on, and he's very communicative, and didn't know that everyone was not like that.
Yo,
So
that would be a unicorn.
Yeah.
very much a unicorn. And so we started to get more projects over that time. I think our first full year in business, we probably did like 7 projects. And it was really just word of mouth. Like I said, I've been doing business since I was 12. So I've had clients that I did their hair in my childhood bedroom. That's Word of mouth has been big for me.
So you already had a built-in kind of like group of people
Network.
you knew, right? Do you find Atlanta to be a pretty hot market? Is it something where you got 7 projects because it's a really hot exploding market, or was it because you were newer and hungrier and maybe less expensive? How did that work?
No, I'm not gonna say I've always been expensive. I learned from events and seeing that world and what people
Sure.
actually charge. Because when I went to it, I'm doing hair, so you're charging 250 for a sew-in or something. You're like, "Oh, I'll just charge 750 for this event,"
Yeah.
not knowing that there's so much that goes into it. So,
Yeah.
took a lot of classes, invested in education there, and saw what it really takes to do events at that level. So I was able
Yeah.
to take that wisdom into
I can do
interiors.
events that, we get added on to events, for brands all the time where we're
Mhm,
doing the guest list and, I'll see how much it costs some of these events that you interior designers get to go and enjoy.
mhm,
It's like
mhm.
crazy.
Yeah.
Afternoon costs $75,000, just for food and bev and
Mm,
all the line items. Like I mean, that's
yeah,
crazy.
my heart.
That was more than my wedding. So,
Conference F&B this year is almost 6 figures for a very
yeah.
small conference, so it hurts. So when
Yeah.
people see how much it costs,
Yeah,
like,
it's sticker shock.
I'm doing snow angels and
But I
money.
think,
It's
one of the
because
things that was really cool to watch was how beautifully you executed the conference.
Yeah.
So I was
Thank you.
telling I work with Lee Hirschberg from Design Edge, so we do his side of his conference,
Good.
and it's twice a year, and it's in different locations, which is kind of suits me, but I
Yeah,
really love how you styled everything, and I mean, I don't know if
thank
Lee
you.
ever will do that, but I'm like, "I love it. It's so
Mhm.
gorgeous."
Thank you, and it's intentional that way because I think as creatives, like, we thrive
Yeah.
in
Well, it creates a
spaces that look
media
different.
moment, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it does create that media moment. People wanna share a photo of that conference. I saw a ton once you did it, I mean, I saw tons and tons of
yeah. We take
after the show. I
those
thought
are
you did a great job marketing it. I really did.
Thank you. Thank you, and
I don't
I
think there was a
had so the
designer that
first
hadn't heard of it, right, Niall? Would you think?
Say that again.
I don't think there was a designer that hadn't heard of it.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, it was
And it was,
ads. You guys did
and
the whole,
yeah, and
Facebook
then what I
ads and Meta
yeah,
ads. Like I
and
was
what
seeing
I
it
found
everywhere.
was, like, people were saying to me, and I'm like, "Do you all think I have a private jet out back?" Like, literally as the conference was happening, like, literally as people were converging onto like, it was, like, maybe a day before or 2 days ago. "Are you gonna be at Case? Are you gonna be at Case? Are you gonna be at Case? You're gonna be at Case? Am I gonna see you at Case? Am I gonna see you at Case?" Or, like, when it was happening, "Are you at Case? Oh, can we do lunch? Are you—" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually not there." And I'm starting to have, like, serious
Oh no.
FOMO, and I also don't have a jet.
I just wanna
I'm like,
say, Niall,
right, you're
that
right. There wasn't anybody that didn't know anything about it. I
we've
totally
slid.
agree.
We've slid
Yeah.
in Niall's DMs probably 2 years in a row at
Yeah.
this point.
Well, that's the worst place. That's the worst. That is
Say
we
Niall is
the worst place.
The
unfortunately
worst.
DM
Email and DMs are the worst.
are his
The
weaknesses.
first thing we tell our clients when they sign with us is, like, we're taking you out of email and we are putting you in Basecamp because I want everything
hate
right in front of me. And
I want to give everybody the hottest tip about how to get in touch with Niall.
Please.
Text me and
Yeah.
I will text him.
that is the
Yes.
absolute truth.
I
That
am
is the absolute truth.
So I
Yes,
just wanna
exactly.
say
personal
that
nagger.
I don't want you to think that because, I've been a fan of you, Niall, since, like, the beginning. Like,
Thanks.
there are certain designers where certain designs are imprinted in my mind, and I think it's so beautiful that even some of the newer designers, like ones that I've coached or, like, new ones that have come in, the designs that they have, like, creativity, that's the thing. I don't need to teach design because 'cause we're all so talented.
Yep.
It's the business part, but, I just wanna make sure that you know that we have been checking for you, year after year, but now I will just
Yeah.
text Laurie or
Yeah. Email me.
DM Laurie.
I mean,
Message me and
Get a
I'll
hold
give
of
you
you.
my number too. You can text me. I will get him to answer.
Laurie's Niall's handler, and I'll go ahead and do that, but
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the
I
way
would love it too because I feel like Niall doesn't I try to give Niall as much opportunity in that world as because he is so awesome and charming and wonderful and supportive of the industry. I love to see him shine. It's just a wonderful thing. So I would be watching going, hell yeah.
we would want you in the mix, in the mix too, and I think this is also not that you're alluding to this, but there's also I made a very conscious effort that I wanted the collective to be for everyone.
Yeah.
I think that designers of color, obviously, there is underrepresentation, but it's just that I think that underrepresentation comes in a lot of different ways,
Mhm.
whether you are from a trailer park in Montana or you are Indian, Asian, Filipino, or Filipino is kind
Education
of part of Asian,
background. There's so many
anything.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not even just about race a lot of times, it's about access, it's about visibility, and that is what I wanted the collective to be about, and I went to my team about it, like, before we started for what year is this? For 26, and I was like, "I wanna tweak our messaging a little bit." Because I feel like there's so many people who I don't like anyone to feel excluded. And so the whole point of CASE was so that people did not feel excluded. And so by the very fact of me trying to make sure that people weren't excluded, now people feel excluded. I'm like, we have to fix this because
Yeah.
that's not what it's about. It's about everyone because we all feel kind of looked over or passed over in one way or another. We all wish that we had more access.
So wait, people were telling you they felt excluded?
Well, I definitely
No,
think
it was
I think
more
what you
so
see
like
was that it does seem like a conference for people of color, and I would
I never
say
got I never got that. I never
like
that
it was.
I
I
never
felt like
was.
some
I mean, I came out the gate like designers 2% of designers, are African American. So, that was kind of what
but I
brought
never
it.
maybe, but I never so it never you have to beat me over sometimes you have to beat me over the head with stuff for me to understand. Like, it has to be super literal. Sometimes things have to be super literal, but I mean, in the past, other conferences that were literally for, us
Mhm.
by us, literally said that, like, the Black Interior Designers Network or the African American Top 20. Like, those things were very literal. And so I guess I come from that space of, okay, if that's what it is, it's going to say that's what it is.
well,
And
for me, Niall, I when I see an area that is for that. I always am supportive for sure,
Absolutely,
but
100%.
I also don't want any attention. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like a lot of,
I know.
designers who are white probably are feeling the same thing. Like they don't want to come in and feel like they're stealing a spotlight or being in a safe space that is needed. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where people can have like an internal conversation, like, do I see
Mhm.
myself there? You know what I mean? And do I want to be attracting attention that
Yeah.
deserves to be on people that need that attention or
But I think
deserve
that
that attention?
I think
So
that we all need it. We're all
Yeah,
in
we
it
all
together,
do.
right?
yeah.
We all need it, and I was talking to, a designer. We had the same coach, and we were on a retreat, and she's, like, close friends with a lot of people, like, in our circles and everything. She speaks at High Point, this, that, and the third, and she was just it wasn't like a grievance or anything like that. It's like she understood it the same way that you understand it. Lori, I think her thing was when she goes to some of these events and she doesn't see diversity in itself is just, it's bothersome to her. So like she gets it, but I feel like
It
I
doesn't
don't
bother
like
me. I feel
yeah.
like there needs to be
Yeah.
places where people that are experiencing whatever that might be. And I think that you're right. Like it's not necessarily a race thing, but it is, there are spaces where people who are going through the same challenges need to be able to be insular and talk about that challenge where someone else might not be experiencing that challenge. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that
So whatever that might be. And I think you're right with the rural versus urban, because it is really hard I talk to a lot of designers. It is really hard for designers in an urban area
mhm.
to grow a business.
Yeah.
It is a limited access. If
Yeah.
you grew up in Dakota, somewhere, or I get designers from the middle of nowhere, like Missouri, where it's 30 minutes to get to a Walmart. Say you're that person and you grew up and you wanted to be an interior designer your entire life, and you have maybe taken some community college classes, or you graduated from your local state college and something else that you could make money at because that's all you could do. And then how do you achieve this? How do you get that, really? How do you find a client that has a budget for an interior designer where
Yeah.
there are less of
Yeah,
those?
and Case is gonna go teach you where to go find the money. Oh, you're in North Dakota, we're gonna find the richest zip code in North Dakota, and we're gonna go figure out how to
Love
farm that
that.
neighborhood. And I
Love
haven't
that.
had anyone come to me kinda like in a negative way, but it's like I might talk to designers and they might see me and they're like, "I love what you're doing. I wish I could come." I'm like, "Why
Uh,
can't you come?" They're like, "Oh, because I'm not black." I'm like,
I see.
I don't like that. I don't mm-mm. I don't want anyone to ever think that this is like, "You can't sit with us," type of thing. That's why it's just like, I want to build a community of good people who want to build their craft, who want to build their business, and want to change, like, the financial landscape of their life and of their family and of the generations to come. We all want money. It is a, trash economy right now. I also was an econ major, so I know that it's cyclical,
Yeah.
and it is what it is, and you ride it out, but I I just didn't want that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna attract who I attract because I'm a Black woman. So those women, and men, they're gonna naturally gravitate toward me. But, I love, getting to know other groups, and I also I love getting to know white people, black people, green people, whatever. Like, I feel like, especially during this time, it's counterproductive
Mhm.
to promote anything that is even remotely divisive, because the most important thing that we have to do right now is come together. I was at High Point. Where were we at? After Duval's event, in the basement, jumping around, to Taylor Swift, and then, look, Nelly came on, and everybody was dropping it low. They were off the clock, and we were having a good time because That's what we need, and that's really what exists on the inside of our community.
Yeah. There are far more of us, like, people who are cheering everybody on,
Yeah, that's what
seeing the
happens.
best in everyone than there are the critics or the people
Absolutely.
who are, I mean, let's just say it, there are some racist people in our industry. So there are some racist people, but they're in my experience, they're far, far in the minority, like
Yeah,
far, far in the minority. The most
yeah.
of the designers I know are not racist and are not, that would just love to be part of a community, especially a conference and community that talks about the real talk of money. I mean, God,
Yeah.
like
Yes, I
that
love to talk about
that's something
numbers.
I want too, because I cannot stand, like, it literally is a pet peeve of mine to go to panels or discussions or education
Oh
that
my god.
doesn't have real value for the interior design trade. Like, it just irritates me so much. Like, it can,
Mhm.
even the title of it can be about money and no one talks about money.
And we're not talking about one single dollar.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
much
How
do
much? What's your profit
how
margin?
much
What is how much are you putting in your pocket? And it is not a badge of honor to be not taking a salary. It is not a badge of honor to be not paying yourself. You know what I mean? It is not a badge of honor to not have short-term disability insurance or a 401k or all of the things that we need to have successful, viable businesses and lives and futures. I mean,
Mhm.
design is a very physical job, and people
Yes.
don't think about that someday you might not be able to physically lift those samples,
Mhm.
and sometime you might not be able to work to the degree that you're working. And what are you going to do in that time frame if you haven't saved for your future? If you have a medical problem that comes out of nowhere and you need to address it. So that is reality, and we need to be talking about. I really feel like we need to address
Me
that.
too.
Why are we always so polite around those numbers?
And I think it'll help the industry as well if
Hugely.
more
Like,
because
I
people
loved
are
what you just
able.
said, where you would dig into that person in Dakota's, like, best neighborhoods, where they should be targeting their marketing. That's specific, real information to act on.
Yeah. Yeah, because everyone has all these different ideas of what numbers are, and also being able to educate a client on how much things actually cost. And I think that there's another pet peeve of mine is where we kinda, like, beat down. It's very weird,
It
right?
is.
Everyone is about being in their cliques and having designer friends and then make content about clients doing this and doing that. It's like, are you trying to attract the clients or are you trying to like talk ish about them? This is very counterproductive, especially, yes, we have our woes. Yes, and I think like your platform is for designers
Yes.
because your audience are designers.
Right.
But us as designers, at least on, Case Page is for designers. For me, it is for coaching designers, but I also have clients. So I'm not going to use that platform to talk ish about clients. Like we need to be.
You are, like, literally, I'm getting chills that you're saying this, because I think the exact same thing. I'm like, even the stuff I post, I'm like, "You shouldn't be sharing that." Some of it you should share with your friends, but
So
not, like,
I'm gonna play
don't
devil's
share.
advocate. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I feel like sometimes I straight talk makes for straight understanding. And I think sometimes designers go to social media, I know I do, and put stuff out there because you've said it probably 3 or 4 times to the client in a very professional way. You're like, well, no, that's not necessarily how we work. Or if I deviate from my process, you won't get the quality of final product that you are hiring me for. Or if you don't pay, if we negotiate on my salary, I won't be all in, right? If I give you a discount, or if everybody has a markup, you don't go to Nordstrom. You have these conversations, and then they're just not hearing you. So then it's like, okay,
Yeah,
I
you have to let your
most definitely
bitterness not come into that
no,
video content. You have
well,
to, like,
no, it's
you
not.
can be
No,
clear. I
it's
feel
not
like you have to, like,
bitterness.
clear as
I think the
pie.
way that Nile does it is it's very tongue in cheek and it's very like
Yeah,
you're being clear, you're
yeah,
not tiptoeing around it, but there are clients that not clients, but designers that you're just kind of, and really I feel like it's the ones that don't actually have clients yet, no shade. It's okay because we all have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying that's not the way to get
I
in
get it.
there,
I
right?
get it.
Like, once you have a business and you have a reputation, and you have, like, clients who you actually have a rapport with, who you've
Yeah.
had these conversations with, like, I'll send my clients funny stuff from Instagram sometimes, like, if we just had a conversation about
Yeah.
something or whatever, and it's a
Yeah.
it's a good kiki, right? But I think that you have to, especially when you are just starting out, you have to be cognizant of the message that you are sending, and that, yes, you might relate to it, but you may not have actually experienced it yet,
I see what you're
Right.
saying. You could
you
Yeah.
know?
alienate. You
So
could alienate the
yeah.
group you're trying to attract.
And
I see.
there's a
Yeah.
good balance of it. Here
Yeah.
and there, some good humor here and there.
Yeah.
But if you're reposting on your story 6, 7 different memes about, you know,
I guess even if it's not, but if it's not getting you what you want, like for me, if I wasn't getting, like when I think I posted, this is a few years ago, where I talked about, like, I don't want you to buy a fork. Like, if you hired me, don't get a fork without my permission. And literally, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years later, my one client, who is still a client, said to me, I know how you are. I'm calling you right now because I saw that video. Like, I better not get a fork. So for me, that's worth it, because
yes, yes.
she saw that, you know what I'm saying? Or
Mhm.
like, another client says, "Oh, I know how you feel about ceiling fans, but so
And titty lights.
how do we approach this in the bedrooms, because it gets hot?" And I'm like, "Okay, well, we can do this, that, or the third." So I think if you're not getting a response, if the video is not educating, if you're just doing it to get attention and not necessarily, because for me, it's all about education. I just want you to understand, like, this is
Mhm.
how we work. If that's not your goal, and I see what you're saying. If you're just trying to get, like, likes, or you're just trying to get, like, the attention,
Other designers, yep,
yeah, if it's
the
for
other
shock
designers,
value, yeah, that's a problem. That's a
Yeah.
problem.
And
because
I
we're all
really,
here.
that's you should be looking at your whole social that way, is
Yeah,
like,
well,
how can you
you should just toggle your little thing from interior designer to content creator,
Yeah.
like, at that point.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that a lot of people have found that out actually in this landscape, that you might not wanna be an interior designer in the sense that you thought, and that
yeah,
maybe you want to be a content creator, and I think that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think our industry, DIY content creators, you have, studio owners, there's so many different ways to be in the industry, and I think that we all should just, like, kinda relax, drop our shoulders, it's okay. If you don't aspire to do it at the level that other designers are doing it, and there's still ways to be profitable and wealthy in this space and doing other things, and so that's my standpoint of it. Like, I'm super chill, so I'm like, "Can we all just get along?"
Yeah.
exactly,
I
Like,
think
exactly.
there's a
designers,
reason. I mean, I
clients,
I feel the same
everybody.
way. I think that it's fine to be an influencer, although I think sometimes the content, where it's rage baiting kind of stuff drives me a little bit,
That's
it
different, and
annoys me a
that,
little bit.
yeah,
Like,
exactly,
I get annoyed by this is out, and this is out, and this is out, because I'm just like, okay, somebody just bought that. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, white kitchens are their favorite thing in the world. They've always wanted a white kitchen. They saved up a lot of money and they want a white kitchen. And it doesn't matter. They don't need some designer who's out there, or influencer that's saying that's out and this is out. And, it gets to a point where, come on, you're really just making this for the algorithm.
I will confess that I use my threads to rage bait designers because it's so fun. I said, "Promise me, you guys, when Cherrywood Kitchens come back, that you will not bite the bait." And they're like, "Yeah, because we should just have all white oak kitchens." And I'm like, "Exactly, yes, and they're like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "Sarcasm for sarcasm, sweetie. Like, wisdom is chasing you and you are faster." But I
Yeah, I feel like you can reinvent yourself on any social media, though. You can really have Instagram can be different than your TikTok, and you can be playing around with different things that work, or at the end of the day, it's about attracting the right client, right? And
yeah,
that's what
and
we're all doing this for.
I think people should be able to see, like, who you are.
Yeah.
Being a designer is a very intimate job, and so you actually end up building, like, a friendship relationship with a lot of these people. So I think that that's okay. But yeah, like the rage bait of like this is out, this is in. It's like you can't yuck someone else's yum for real, like in real
Yeah.
life, because a cherry wood kitchen done properly. I'm talking about the ones that got the old kitchen and then the linoleum is peeling up, scratching your ankles. That's the cherry wood I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the slab
Well,
front
what
with
is the
the
architecture telling
stain.
you to do?
Right,
What is
right.
the home telling you to
Mid-century,
do?
right.
Yeah.
The spirit of it could be very beautiful, but that's here or there. But my goal is to just make sure that everyone is just like really in reality when it comes to this industry and not overthinking it and making so many assumptions. That's, when we started off, people assuming that someone wouldn't like their work or like not showing up. Like, we need to talk about prices. We need to show up. We need to validate the industry across the board. And we're all doing ourselves a disservice not to really show up because someone is always coming up behind you. And so if you're holding on and hoarding, all your greatness and all your gifts, like they know at Case, like I will come like bully you. I'm like, "I saw you were photographing that project. Why isn't it on your page yet?"
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, "How much you charging for a consultation?" "I'm just doing free." And then there's another designer like, "Don't tell her that you're doing it for free, because now I gotta pull you in a corner."
I love
Okay?
it. Let's
Yeah.
do a lightning round of like get to know Jameelah questions. Coffee or tea?
It should be tea,
But it's
but
coffee.
it's coffee in this season
Yeah.
with an extra shot of
Do you do
espresso.
the iced coffee or you the jingle jingle with your
I like to make my own coffee at
Yeah.
home so I can control the sugar content
Sure.
and all of that, but I do love tea. I actually love tea with, like, no sugar or anything at
Ooh,
all.
good. Early bird or night owl?
I'm a night owl. If I didn't have a husband and kids, I would clock in at 9 p.m. and clock out at 5 a.m.
Right.
That's when I'm most, you know, like, there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one item in your home you would never part with?
My sectional, even though I will have to eventually part with it, but I
Right.
love it so much.
I love that. It's the family time, right? Like everybody can snuggle
Yeah,
up,
we
be
just
together.
it's like me and my husband sleep on there like half of the month we're on there. And it's been almost 2 years and it hasn't sunken in yet. And it was actually from, what's it called? CB2,
Wow.
surprisingly.
Good, good. Favorite city for design inspiration?
Mm. Mm, New York.
New York. Oh, I love New York. I'm going to New York next week. I'm going to be teaching how to create video content at
Oh,
on Market Day at the India Building. So exciting.
to do something in New York so bad. We'll eventually get there.
I love it. What's a luxury you'll happily spend money on?
Hotels.
Hotels. You and
Hotel.
Niall, you would be best for besties on that one.
Mm.
The book that has influenced you the most.
A book? What is it? I'm looking at it right now. It's by Louise Hay. I think it's called You Can Heal Your Life.
Ooh.
Can I grab it so I can show
Yeah.
you how pretty it
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Need to write it down.
So my mom gave this to me. This is her book. It's called You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. It's actually a really short read. I mean, it's all jacked up. And I read it a couple of times. Like
Wow.
this was in here, something about I don't know. This is something that's just stuck in there. I just let it all stay in there. But it talks about just being gracious and patient with yourself. It also talks about how different ailments connect to certain things. Like if a sore throat means that you need to vocalize, like you need to speak up for yourself, or back pain could mean that like you are controlling, you're trying to control the situation. So this book has stayed with me, and I actually got it on audio too. So the audio version of it is very quick. It's like 3 hours. I don't know how it's 3 hours and it's this big, but yeah, that's my
I
favorite.
love that. What's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
I don't know what they would be I'm a real Atlanta girl. I am very much Nunu from ATL, the movie. If anyone has seen that, it's like a movie about Atlanta. So I'm very much like, I don't want to say hood, but hood adjacent. I've always been hood adjacent. We've always lived in like the nice street around the corner from the hood. So I always got the best of both worlds. And so I carry that with me. And I think that there's just like a lot to learn from coming up in those, in that area, those areas, because we moved around a lot. But yeah. Anytime people see, at Case, we might have like a little dance break and I'm over there dropping floor. They're like, oh, wait a minute.
I love it. What's on your bucket list?
My bucket list, I would really love to skydive, but I'll never do it.
Yeah, me
I'll never
either.
do it.
I'm the same as you. I don't want. I think for me, if you're gonna do it, I feel like you need to do it young, because like your bones in your body is like elastic.
If I do it, I'm gonna be like 89.
Ugh.
Just look,
I
if
feel like
I'm
I'd be
out, I'm
crippled.
out. It's all
Like
good.
all my ligaments, all my joints.
It's all right. If I'm out at 89, 90 years old, it's fine. But my my bucket list, I really do want to, like, I want to go. I don't know why. I just really want to like not backpack, but travel through Africa. I couldn't backpack. I would have to be frequenting, different luxury hotels around Africa. But that's what I would love to do.
That's wonderful. And finally, great design should always what?
Heal.
I love
Mhm.
that. Well, thank you so much, Jameelah. I want everyone to go and follow your journey at Case Conference and to know you as a designer. And we'll make sure that when we send this out, that they can follow all of your links and know who you are, because you're pretty amazing. We love you.
You. I love you all too. And I wanted to offer a discount to anyone who
Ooh,
registers. We'll come up with a code. It
yeah.
could be TTT 150 or something like that.
Yeah, I'll send it out. This goes out to all of our email lists across the board, so we can absolutely add anything like that into the blog posts that we do about it, and
Nice.
the email lists that we put it on, so that people can see that there's an offer, which we love.
And when is it so that people know when the conference is?
It is October 1st through the 3rd in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Hotel Phoenix. It's the new hotel in Centennial Yards near Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So
Love
it's going to be phenomenal. And I would love to, we'll talk offline and
Yeah,
see if I can get some more coins and get Niall and Laurie over to the conference.
wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, thanks very much. This was wonderful, and make sure everyone follows Jameelah.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
This episode is brought to you by Curry and Company. Designers, you know the moment. You walk into the room and the lighting stops you in your tracks. Chances are it might be Curry. Curry and Company has built its reputation on pieces that feel sculptural, collected, and timeless, from hand-finished chandeliers to statement lamps, furniture, and accessories. Their collection is top-notch. If you haven't explored their newest introductions, take a look. Visit curryandcompany.com